The Pregnant Care Show is proudly brought to you by
Phenomenal Water.
Dole Yogurt.
Maybe there are no cravings or mood swings after all. Maybe there are too. What makes me crave for things I have never thought of? And what makes my mood swings during pregnancy? How does cravings and mood swings affect my pregnancy and those around me? What should I do and how can I deal with cravings and mood swings during my entire journey of pregnancy? Does every pregnant woman experience this? Let's find out on today's episode about cravings and mood swings in pregnancy. Hello viewers, welcome to Pregnant Care, an interesting show where we talk everything pregnancy, delivery, post-delivery and all other medical conditions in pregnancy. My name is Dede and I'm your host for today's episode. On today's episode, we will be talking about cravings and mood swings in pregnancy. On today's episode, we will be talking about cravings and mood swings in pregnancy. The show is Pregnant Care and my name is Dede, your host. My guest today is Dr. Lee. He's been here on the show before and he's here again to help us get a better understanding of today's episode. So Dr. Lee, you are welcome to Pregnant Care.
Thank you.
It's nice having you on the show again.
It's my pleasure.
We'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, the show still continues.
This advert is FDA approved.
Mommy is coming!
Have you cleaned the kitchen? Done all the chores?
Yes, ma'am.
Then it's time for
Dole Yogurt. Dole Yogurt. Everybody grab Dole. It's delicious, creamy and refreshing too. Mommies love it and dads enjoy it and the children, they love it. With a cup is Dole Yogurt. With a cup is Dole. With a cup is Dole Yogurt. With a cup is Dole. Dole Yogurt.
This advert is FDA approved.
Just joined us is still Pregnant Care, and our topic for today's episode is cravings and mood swings in pregnancy. Doc, so we want to know what cravings are in pregnancy, what causes cravings, and what does it mean to say someone is craving in pregnancy?
Thank you very much. So cravings in pregnancy is something quite common. Okay, although the cause of it, there are some theories postulated that it's mostly due to the pregnancy hormones. Okay, during pregnancy, the body usually secretes a lot of hormones. These are mostly the estrogen, progesterone. Okay, although there's no theory to for us postulate to say that this is what is actually causing the craving. But most of the time, we tend to just deduce that probably it's just from the hormones, which are normally quite high, especially if somebody is pregnant. So cravings is quite common, and a lot of it is normal, all right? In the beginning of the pregnancy, especially if somebody just missed her cycle, that is, especially when they are supposed to see their menses, during that time, in the early part of the pregnancy, once somebody has just confirmed the pregnancy, they may not experience some of these cravings. Okay, the cravings tends to come more during the middle part of the first trimester, meaning the first 3 months, maybe from 8 weeks going, and then it's variable. Sometimes it can get worse with time or get better with time, okay? But most of the time, the first 3 months, in the middle part of it, then they start, experiencing the cravings. The cravings could be, can come in various forms, okay? Basically, can come as food. Some people may have cravings for food, sometimes smell, but with regards to the food, sometimes some of the food could be nutritious food, or some of them may not even be nutritious. And then that is the time you see pregnant women sometimes craving for certain things which are non-nutritious at all. I think we'll get into that, especially once we dwell into the topic more. But it's something quite common in pregnancy.
How dangerous is craving in pregnancy, and does everybody crave in pregnancy?
Yeah. So basically, with regards to the cravings, nature is very fair. Some will attribute it to God, Allah, or whatever. It's quite fair. So you find out that most of the cravings tend to be something which is nutritious, and a lot of the things which are either poisonous or very toxic, a lot of the time we are repulsive towards those kind of cravings. So hardly we have such cravings, but yes, sometimes it happens, especially whereby people can crave for sun. Some will even crave for taking ice, this ice block, which is non-nutritious. But a lot of the cravings are mostly nutritious substances, which could range from so many things, okay? There are instances it may push you towards one particular food. Okay, there are instances like for somebody who maybe like when someone was not pregnant, there are food probably you never even like to take them, but once the pregnancy kicks in, they feel for such food. So it can push the pregnant woman to any, of the, the kind of food. It can more or less push the woman to any of these foody stuff. So it's variable. So it depends on. So it's sometimes very difficult to predict what the woman is going to experience, what kind of cravings she will experience. But yes, it's something quite normal. The only problem is when now it pushes somebody to non-nutritious, things which are non-nutritious. And sometimes there are explanations for that, okay? Especially if some people have certain deficiencies in certain minerals in the body. That is why it's always very important to take these prenatal vitamins. So you find out that when somebody is having deficiency in iron, sometimes it pushes them to certain substances, craving for them, which may not necessarily add any value to her diet, but just because of the pregnancy, is pushing them towards those things.
So we have instances where a man complains like, when the wife got pregnant, she's been asking too much. I want to eat this and I want it from this spot. I want to eat this. What would he tell the men? Because something is just, they are just being fancy or they are just being too demanding. They do not understand that they are actually hormones that are pushing the woman to do such. So what do you tell them, the men, that it's a normal pregnancy symptom or sign to have a craving?
Yes, sometimes we tend to see some of these things whereby, and sometimes some of these things can happen even at odd hours, late in the night, 12 a.m., 1 p.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., the wife or the pregnant will just wake up and then have a particular craving for particular food, which is going to be very difficult to even get. Sometimes we've had stories, especially at the clinic, whereby maybe like a neighbor is cooking something, okay, maybe like even you were not even close to that neighbor, but because of the craving the pregnant woman is having, sometimes they will either go or maybe force their husband to go, which can be quite embarrassing. But one needs to understand that some of these things are just quite normal. That is why we are even having this discussion, because once you know that something is normal, then you will not be put off, especially when somebody is having such demands from you. And if it's not handled well, sometimes it can bring some strenuous strain in the relationship. So it's very important, at least for somebody to understand that some of these things are normal. What the man can do is try to understand the situation and then help the woman as much as possible. And if let's say like you cannot meet those demands, maybe you can involve other partners, maybe either the family or if it's too much, sometimes you can probably just see your GP or your midwife, whereby they can at least counsel the lady about some of those things. and then also find a solution to the problem. Because yes, sometimes it can put a lot of strain in a relationship, especially if the couple are so naive about what is going on. Yeah, sometimes it can put a strain.
At what stage of the pregnancy is craving so excessive? And then when it's excessive and you can't handle, do you refer the client to see a dietitian?
Yes, so we tend to do that. The cravings tends to get worse, especially as the pregnancy is advancing. During the first 3 months, which we call the first trimester, sometimes because of the pregnancy symptoms, the morning sickness, nausea, vomiting, sometimes most women may not even feel like eating. But going through the latter part of the first 3 months, going through the second 3 months, which we call the second trimester, people tend to have more of these cravings. And sometimes it may even push them to eat more, or even like not having a healthy eating habit. And this can come with weight issues and big baby, especially if it is not handled well. Yes. When we encounter this, sometimes we can help them at least to see the dietitian, okay, whereby they can at least counsel them about the diet and what to eat, what to avoid, and what not to eat, especially with regards to the cravings.
Viewers, we've been talking about cravings and mood swings in pregnancy, and we've learned that it is normal for a pregnant woman to crave, but then there are cravings for nutritional diets and also craving for unnutritional diet. So let's try as much as possible to crave for nutritional diet. Let's go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we will find out more on mood swings in pregnancy.
This advert is FDA approved.
Mommy is coming! Mommy is coming!
Have you cleaned the kitchen? Done all the chores?
Yes, ma'am.
Then it's time for
Dole yogurt, Dole yogurt. Everybody, grab Dole. It's delicious, creamy, and refreshing too. Mommies love it, and dads enjoy it, and the children, they love it. Raise a cup is Dole yogurt, raise a cup is Dole. Raise a cup is Dole yogurt, raise a cup is Dole. Dole yogurt.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome. If you just joined us, it's still Pregnant Care, and my name is Dede. So let's crave and crave healthy. Doc, our next question, we would want to know why mood swings in pregnancy. Some pregnant women are very moody, like they are just some way, I work in the hospital, sometimes they come in, they're already angry, I can't meet them with my anger. So probably if I'm someone who don't know much about them, I could also meet them with anger. So what causes this mood swings during the pregnancy? Because they relate with others at home, at workplaces. So we want to know why mood swings in pregnancy.
Yeah, this mood swings is one of those things which is also quite common in pregnancy. And you find out that it can also put a lot of strain, especially in a relationship, especially like for couple who have never experienced this before, and now the wife is pregnant and she's going through this turmoil of pregnancy with a lot of mood swings, getting angry here, fighting over there, or sometimes just getting irritated over things which are very subtle, very trivial. So pregnancy can cause this, and it's mostly because of the pregnancy hormones too. There's no particular, like most of the theorists did not really point to any particular like hormones which is causing this problem, but yes, it's mostly attributed to the pregnancy. So when couples are going through this thing, it's always very important to have like understanding of what is going on. Okay, we've seen issue like couple especially going through these problems whereby the wife is putting so much stress to the husband, so much so that the man sometimes feel like giving up. Okay, and you find out that this was a lady who was very nice, very approachable, affable, you know, to the partner, and then pregnancy comes in now, put a lot of strain into the relationship.
So since most of this are caused by pregnancy hormones, so does it mean that after the pregnancy, these problems are being reduced? The woman is able to get back to her normal feelings and have a normal diet with everything, the cravings and the mood swings, and so after the pregnancy, all these things reduce. Is it possible?
Yes, majority of the time. Once the woman have delivered the baby, with the joy, excitement which comes with it, most of the time these things tends to go away. But sometimes there are instances whereby the mood swings can still persist, and we call that the postpartum blues or the postnatal blues, which is like a milder form, still experiencing the mood swings. The only time, like I said, we take it seriously is if it's become like excessive, because pregnant women can deliver their baby, you know, experience the excitement and still go through, you know, depression or very serious postpartum blues. Because once it's beyond the normal, then one has to at least seek help. But a lot of the time, yes, women can go through the mood swings too, especially after the delivery too. And you know, after the baby comes to, it comes a lot of stress, okay? Now, because with babies having different pattern of sleep, their biological clock is totally different from ours. So you find out that a lot of the time they'll be so active in the evening, sleep the whole day. So if you're somebody who is not following that pattern, getting rest, enough rest, then all these things can also put a lot of strain on the mother. And this can also just easily push her off, get confrontation with other people around her, especially the loved ones, because most of the time they are the ones who mostly feel some of these problems. Okay, but it's always good once things get out of hand to get help.
So it is normal to have mood swings in pregnancy, but then it could also escalate, or it could be too much of it. And if it is too much, probably the pregnant woman will be referred to see another doctor who is a specialist at that field. Let's hit the streets and take comments from our viewers.
I'm not really a fan of eating much when I'm pregnant though, but there were a few. Like I sip some beer, I do some rice, only rice, maybe with pear, some little fishes, then maybe later drink some water.
Mine is not all that good. I always feel for pepper, anything hot, I like it. And my pepper, I don't like tomato, I don't like anything, pepper and onion. And I like it as schoolboys. I like it, and I like momoni to be in. So when I take it, then I'm okay.
Na aduane a me pepa fufu ni laisu na me type akrante na mpa eti ma mi kru ni di mi free akoko because I want na wofo na me mi kodu kowo no na any time bia no say mi kru anya nwuram na ma ntokro ko to bi ochoba e de bremi.
I wasn't scared of my cravings because I thought that is what my baby likes. There were certain food I normally eat, I vomit. So the ones that I eat that I don't vomit, I feel like that is what the baby wants.
I like clay. I can go and sit in a mouldy house, then I start licking the clay.
De manya fufuo ni akrante no. Kwa fufuo frɛ aduane be frɛ ni nsihu, eye bura ya son, eye vita. En na me pɛ, ene ablolovi na ma ya hye. Nti aduane na me pɛ pa nti de manya ablolovi ene nsihu no, na aduane a me di ni fufuo ene akrante.
Those are some comments from our viewers. From a viewer, he is actually a male. He said from their previous pregnancy, the wife was having this serious mood swing, and he was able to deal with it, but he got to a stage where he felt he wanted to withdraw, but he tried. And then this is their current pregnancy, just in the early phase. So what can you do to help him to be able to deal with this whole mood swings? What can you tell him to do?
Yeah, this is something some men go through, especially if they have a wife or like a partner who's pregnant. And especially for somebody who has already experienced it in the previous pregnancy, I understand he'll be very nervous whether this thing will happen again. You know, with each pregnancy, the presentation is variable. It doesn't necessarily mean the woman may come with the same thing, but one has to at least prepare themselves for the, you know, for the worst outcome. So basically, he needs to understand that mood swings is quite common in pregnancy. And a lot of the time, it's just due to the pregnancy hormones. Except maybe if it is out of, like if it's too much, whereby it involves a lot of physical abuse, verbal abuse, whereby then you may have to either involve like a clinical psychologist or someone else who can at least help address the situation.
So our next comment is from a viewer. She said during her pregnancy, she used to crave so much for cooked egg and Coke. So people are advising her that it has effect on the baby. She shouldn't take egg. Egg is not good during pregnancy. And Coke as well. Do we have foods, apart from those foods that we know they are dangerous, maybe the pikers and alcohol, do you have any normal nutritional food that shouldn't be taken excessively in pregnancy? Anything? Yeah.
For our normal Ghanaian diet, a lot of them are quite safe in pregnancy. I can say almost all of them. But there are, okay, let me just address that situation. With regards to the Coke and the egg is nutritious. And it's also, we normally even encourage pregnant women to take it. Okay, but with everything in life, you know, too much sometimes can be a trouble. Okay, so the egg is fine. So the Coke, too much of the Coke too, because with the Coke, it's a ready sugar. Once you take it, it's going straight to your bloodstream. And if it is abused excessively, sometimes with time, it can increase your risk for having diabetes in pregnancy. Okay, because if you take the Coke, 5 bottles, 6 bottles, and you know, you are pumping your body with a lot of calories. And the body will use what it can use, and the rest it will store it. And with time, you know, you can increase your risk for other issues. So it's always good to at least eat something which is quite nutritious.
Some of these pregnancy cravings could be way, but still, they are cravings in pregnancy, and we need to deal with them. Let's go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll have our couple moments and our pregnancy tip for this episode. Welcome to Avena Kana. Our tip on water today is to everybody, public, and our pregnant women as well. So everybody is encouraged to drink enough water per day. That is 8 to 12 large glasses per day, because it helps to circulate nutrients better in your blood to supply other parts of the body and to your organs and the unborn baby. So we recommend Vena drinking water to you. Vena, changing people's lives.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome. If you just joined us, it's still Pregnant Care, and I am Dede. On today's episode, we've been talking about what cravings are and what mood swings are in pregnancy. And we've learned that it is normal to crave and it is normal to have mood swings in pregnancy, but not too much of it, because too much of everything is bad. Let's go for our couple moments. When we come back, Doctor will give us his final words.
A friend Mrs. Bones, you said, dear, Ufan for Fra, a yahomte, ya, to where you come about the Joshua, and ye easy. Now, Bram, mean say, no, sir, be been a drummer corner. Me shred you and the corners of my nipper Diana, and as I am a baby now. Time be a meetimidi. Ebi I bought a son, I do 10. May some simmer differ. It's a semi kumbabu, I'm in Timmy Weddy. Some four, sir, a perceive in a media. Obabu, I'm in Timmy Weddy. Tis half to turning in I'm the mamma your mother.
Send American and the create to do. The create a dear Bakunsa said, wouldn't we or Nasa or 5 if one. And my teacher here procro. Send a bear, who crock on the year, a crown should be a Nijuana, a bravo. Nina, I say, O Munima, I am here near me pea. especially on my dim bibia edu baby on come to me do bibia the condo so na say we den we try so obey den obey ama no obeboa no say na be anu no be hianya no say obey okay wona brabom aya no condo ne ma bia say to me bo an e bi titi ni say bi say up ayi kontomre say eboa no ne akwara ni na ahonde ya tosu mienu bi say apple ne say fruit enso eboa no pa bia no kon bedo bia no say we den utumi ayaman say na be ya akwara nso be nya ahonde because bibi no kondo bibia enyo no na no kondo akwara na man no kondo de say onya iti wiye mana eboa onene akwara ni na say na be nya ahonde a mbetumi di awoma aso ya ba.
That was our couple moment, and we had an interesting experience from our couple. So, Doc, please, what's your final word to our viewers? What should they expect on cravings, on mood swings? What should just be it for cravings and mood swings in pregnancy?
So, our take-home message is, in pregnancy, because of the hormones the woman is experiencing, brings a lot of turmoil within the body, a lot of cravings. These ones usually come like physical and also emotional. So the physical ones are the cravings for smell, nutritional food, non-nutritional food. Okay, what is important is for the woman to understand that this is because of the pregnancy. The partner to also understand that because the wife is pregnant now or the partner is pregnant now, that is why she is going through some of these things. And when women are going through this, they need a lot of support, accommodation from the partner. Okay, sometimes change of environment or, a little bit of care can even help the woman to overcome some of those things. With regards to the cravings too, if it's the nutritional one, it's good to handle it with care because when you eat too much too, sometimes can also have some effect, on the pregnancy. Because in pregnancy, you need to also gain a normal weight during the pregnancy. So if you're eating excessively, can come with these issues too later on. With regards to the non-nutritional ones, the better we, the more we avoid them, the better. Because the issue is some of those ones, especially like sand, clay, somebody can end up developing some food poisoning or taking some bacteria, which can come with so many, very discomforting symptoms, nausea, vomiting, cramps. So with the non-nutritional ones, it's always good to at least avoid them. And sometimes it could be maybe due to some underlying problem, especially if somebody have iron deficiency, it could be because of that. So once those symptoms are persistent, it's always good to see your midwife or doctor so that at least they try to address it for you.
So thank you so much, Dr. Lee, for coming on our show. I think you've been here before and this is the second time. Maybe
Thank you.
We are still hoping to have you more on the show. So viewers, this is Dr. Lee. He's a specialist, he's a gynae and an obstetrician. Up next is our pregnancy tip. Our tip for this episode is pregnant women should know that it is normal to crave and normal to have mood swings. But what do we do with the cravings? Let's try as much as possible to control our cravings for the unnutritional foods. Don't go and be chewing soap. Don't go and sit by the loo to hear the smell of the loo. Don't go and sit by something unhealthy because all these things have effects on the formation of your baby. I guess you want to have a healthy baby. So what do we do to have a healthy baby is to eat well and manage all our stresses and all other swings that we have in our pregnancy so that it does not affect someone who is nearest to us, especially our partners. Thank you for watching today's episode. It has been an interesting moment. If you have any questions, if you have any experience, kindly leave it in our comment section on all our social media platforms at The Pregnant Care Show and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Pregnant Care Show. My name is Dede. Thank you for watching today's episode. The Pregnant Care Show is proudly brought to you by
Phenomenal Water.
Dole Yogurt.